You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dini Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
At dollarseed.com, all of our seeds are only $1 a pack. And we have online resources that teach you all about the rewarding hobby of growing your own plants, flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Imagine the joy you'll feel when your children actually help you harvest your first garden crop, or the pride of knowing you'll never need a florist again. Visit dollarseed.com and grow a little magic of your own for just $1. Dollarseed.com. What could be healthier?
Yo, 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 what is up, guys? Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio Live, right here on iHeartRadio, and I'm your host, Dini. We have another special guest for you guys, so you definitely want to stick around for that. And as a matter of fact, go ahead and text your buddies or your family members, or even share it on social media right now, and let them know that we are about to dive deep into another interview. Before we bring our guest on, I do want to say, can you actually choose to be free? Well, if you think of yourself as a victim, stop that thought right now. Nothing positive will come of it. No matter what has brought you to where you are, it is up to you to move yourself forward. Have forces beyond your control injured you or held you back? Of course they have. Do you really want to depend on those same forces to move you forward? Though others may be to blame for your situation, you are nonetheless responsible for it. Though you may have many excellent reasons to feel sorry for yourself, such pity will not add anything of value to your life. If you see yourself as a victim, it is because you have chosen to do so. Does that sound harsh and uncaring? If you're still in a moment where life hurts and still hurts for you, then probably so. It may sound a little harsh, but keep it in mind. There are many of you and us who have suffered even more than you have. You have chosen not to be a victim. Some people choose not to be a victim. I mean, I don't know anyone who chooses to be a victim, who have chosen instead to, and some of these people have chosen to live their life on their own terms, even though they are victims. You can choose to be responsible, and by so doing, you choose to be free. Take that from me, Coach Dini. That is my word, and word is bond.
Have you struggled budgeting your finances? Don't worry, you're not alone. HumbledBudget.com, that's HumbledBudget.com, is the help and resource you've been searching for. HumbledBudget.com is a personal finance and educational website with a great variety of topics when it comes to budgeting, taxes, investing, and the popular topic of FIRE, financial independence, retire early. HumbledBudget.com has a goal, and that's to help you reach your financial dreams, no matter what your goals are when it comes to finances. It doesn't matter where you start, where you come from, or where you are right now. HumbledBudget.com can help. What are you waiting for? Take that first step to the financial life you've dreamed of and go to HumbledBudget.com. That's HumbledBudget. HumbledBudget.com.
All right. Again, welcome to the show. You're listening to VRL. That's the Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio. And I'm your host, Dini. Our interviews are designed to go beyond the music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these incredible human beings, the ones that are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with someone called Someone, an artist who is breaking the mold with his storytelling and meaningful lyrics. His latest EP, The Moods EP Volume 2, is out right now and has listeners move into the beat while connecting with his experience. He's here with us today. Let's welcome him. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show.
Hey, man, how are you? I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, man, just to jump right in, man, your music is all about telling stories and sharing experiences. Can you tell us about a specific moment or experience that inspired one of your favorite songs on the new EP?
Probably the song that stands out the most for me on the newest EP is a song that I wrote to my wife. It's a song called Held Me Down, and it kind of goes into the story of how we met. I was maybe 2 months out. I was barely a few months sober. Didn't have a belonging. Had maybe 3 shirts to my name. Didn't have a car. Didn't have anything. Any rational person would have told her to run from me, and for whatever reason, she chose not to. Now together, I've got 9 years sober. We've got almost 10 years together, and 2 beautiful kids, all because she chose to see something in me when nobody else did, man. And so I wrote a song about that experience. That's probably the one that stands out the most.
Wow, man, that's incredible. That's incredible, man. That's such a.
Sometimes I still wonder if she made the right choice, but I'm just gonna wake up tomorrow and see if I can prove her right again.
Yeah, of course she did. Of course she did. Is there a song about your experience with, man? That's a story. It's a story there. Is there a story? I mean, is there a song about that story?
About which one in particular?
I don't know if you said you were homelessness, but like, did you say you had 3 shirts?
Yeah, I was homeless. So not off this current EP, but one of my prior releases, I released a song called Days, Nights, and Weeks, and it kind of, Days, Nights, and Weeks, and it kind of, details my battle with addiction, being homeless, getting locked up, walking away from music, losing everything that I had, and kind of just the emotions and the feelings and everything that I was feeling in that moment, written from the perspective of today, but kind of portrayed as though I was still living within those emotions and those experiences in real time.
For sure, man.
A really powerful song.
Oh yeah, I got to check it out. I'm real keen to it now. What brought you back to music?
Honestly, my wife. So I mean, she wasn't around for that period of my life, and she's heard the stories and obviously heard prior music, and she would always kind of see me still writing, and she would encourage me to try it again. And I mean, that probably went on for about 2 years, and I kept saying, no, I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again. It's, I had to give that up. And then finally, just one day out of boredom, I made that song, actually, Days, Nights, and Weeks, and made the decision to release it anonymously online, and reading through the comments on YouTube and like seeing how it touched people in the way that people were kind of reacting to it, man, it just, it lit that fire again. And so now here we are, I don't know, 6, 8 singles and 2 EPs later. And yeah, it's only been about 8 months, but it's been an incredible experience. Yeah. Very humbling, and I'm definitely very grateful to be able to release that passion again.
Yes, sir. And what keeps you here in music now?
Just the love for writing, man. I always tell everyone I'm a writer at heart. Music is just the byproduct of how I let people hear it. I love to write, and that's really what it all boils down to.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about the past because, there's nothing much we could do with that but learn whatever lesson there was to learn.
That's it.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought there.
I think you're about to talk about my past because you said I don't want to talk too much about past. So that leads me to believe we're about to talk about my past, but let's get into it. We can get into it.
I just remembered. So you mentioned that you released the project when you came back. You released it anonymously. How hard was that to do that?
Not at all, man, because that was kind of the trade-off for me. So, I mean, if we go back to when I made the decision to walk away from music, so I got sober, and I tried to stay in music for about a year, and it just wasn't the same. I didn't My brain told me that I wasn't as creative. My brain told me that I wasn't as good on stage. My brain told me all of these things, and meanwhile, I'm trying to hang around the same people who are not sober, and I'm trying to stay in the same venues and do all of these different things that I need to get away from. And so ultimately, and I had a pattern prior to that of, get sober, relapse, and every single time it continues to get worse, just as we all know and hear the stories that it does. And so I made the decision in that time that a sober me could not be involved with music. So I had two decisions. It was, I could continue doing music, which was the way that I made my living for years prior to that, and something that I very much love to do, at the risk of becoming sober and either getting locked up for good this time or overdosing and dying, and I made the decision to try to rebuild something that resembles a respectful life, where I can have relationships and I can have people and I can enjoy things and find happiness, but walk away from music. And without sobriety, there wasn't a life to be had. And so I made the decision to choose life. And that's when I walked away. And so for me, coming back to music, making sure that none of those things that put my sobriety in jeopardy at the beginning are present today in the way that I choose to go about it is very important to me. And so that's why I chose to do it anonymously, and that's why I continue to choose to do it anonymously. And it allows me to be the creative person that I am, to create the art that I love, share it, but then know that the things that are important to me and the things that I've spent the last 9 years building are protected. And that's just how I want to do it.
Yeah. So you're currently building upwards. Since you're sober now, has the creative approach been different?
Not necessarily. I mean, I would always, it was funny, man. Like, I would get sober in the past and I would feel like the floodgates open and I would just go on a writing spree. And then it would get to a point where it would feel stale. I would start using again and it would feel like the floodgates would open. And then I would continue using it. It would get to a point where it would become stale and I couldn't write. And then I would get sober. And it was kind of this pattern. And so now, not having that kind of pattern of sober, relapse, I just find ways to get the inspiration. So, I mean, I could go through a period of time, 4 songs in a matter of days, and then go through a time of 4 days and I write 4 lines. And I just don't stress it. I'm not putting any pressure on myself, and I have no motives or intents to exactly where this goes or how big it becomes. So I'm just enjoying the process and figuring out, finding the inspiration and the motivation in other ways through the life experiences that I have or my day-to-day interactions with people or anything, and kind of using that as the motivator. And what I find is that if I try to write, if I sit down and I say I'm going to write, I may or may not have anything to say. But if I let something inspire me, that it's like, I want to tell a story about this, or I want to tell this story, I mean, the words typically just flow out of me. And so I've just found that it's most important to find the inspiration and then write about that, as opposed to sitting down and saying, I'm going to write something in this moment.
Yeah, man. One final question about that. And I have to, tip my hat to you for walking out of that void. You lose yourself in that darkness, but you made it out. And I solely believe that music is the tapestry of how we process our thoughts and how we feel in our subconscious. What steps have you taken to ensure your mental and emotional well-being is intact while you're pursuing your passion for music?
I mean, just the same things that have got me to this point. I mean, obviously, I'm definitely, AA and Alcoholics Anonymous, regardless if it was alcohol or drugs. Just the program of AA in general is a big proponent to why I'm in the position I am today. My sponsor, the people that I've, collectively built around me, all of the different things that we do to maintain our sobriety and the ways that we choose to go about it, just making sure that no new passion or no new hobby is going to take away from the time that I invested in that. And it's gotten me to this point. I mean, if I think that I can do something different and then keep the same results, then I've become delusional. So I'm under no delusion that regardless of what's changed today, the things that can never change are what allow me to even have the decision to make those kinds of decisions. If that makes sense. So,
absolutely.
It's really kind of the best way I can put it.
Yes, sir. Man, how important is collaboration in your music making process?
Man, I find myself, I kind of prefer to create alone. I mean, that's why, that's kind of how I've always been. And I find myself today choosing to collaborate with the people that I'm fans of, not necessarily because I, need them to create something or anything. I'm a fan of their music, and I want to have a song with them. I want to be able to listen to one of my records and have someone that I admire and look up to on that record. And so all of the people that I've chose to work with up to this point is simply because I admire them, look up to them, and I'm a fan of their music. And I wanted the opportunity to say that I had a record with them. And so that's kind of how I'm going about it right now.
Dope. Which collaboration means the most to you?
Oh man, you're gonna put me in a bad spot for all the people I don't say, man. That's a rough one. Here's what I'll do. I'll go about that a little bit different way. I do not choose to do many collaborations. The collaborations that I've chose to do in order were Morgan Gold, who is a phenomenal R&B artist out of Chicago. Everyone needs to check her out. That's She is an amazing, amazing artist out of Houston, Texas, that everyone needs to go check out. And then Official Voyage out of Portland, Oregon. All three of those artists, I think, are incredibly original, incredibly inspiring, and all of which deserve to be looked up. And then last but not least, my producer, Dope Sean, who produced the entire Volume 2 series, an amazing producer and someone that was an absolute blast to work with.
Dope, man. So the producer produced the whole entire project. What do you look for in a musical producer?
Man, something different. I think that a lot of people fall into the pattern of trying to create what's already been created because it's popular, right? And so it's easy to just say that we're going to follow a trend, to kind of do different things that we've heard already be successful, to try to kind of piggyback that success. And I have always, prided myself on trying to go the exact opposite direction, and that's not always a good thing. It'd probably be a lot easier path to success if you kind of followed a trend, but that's just not who I am at the core. I want to create something that's original and that you don't hear every day. If you vibe with it, that's amazing. If you don't, I understand. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep doing my creative process the way that I do it. So I would say I'm looking for producers that kind of fit that. And so doing things, having their own style that's different and against the grain is definitely what's important to me.
All right. Well, man, we're about to jump into one of your singles called Smooth, and then we'll be back to put you in our traditional hot seat. This is optional. You can perform for us, whether that's rapping, singing, poetry, spoken word, giving advice, telling a story, telling a joke, or playing an instrument. The choice is yours. But for right now, guys, here it is. Smooth. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
They be telling me I'm smooth, yeah. Yeah. Y'all just gonna have to follow me on this one. Hey, yeah.
They be telling me I'm smooth. I be moving this way and they be watching how I move. I'm just doing my thing, they wanna know what I do. I be taking it slow and they be telling me I'm smooth. And I be saying I know, yeah, I be saying I know.
I took some lessons, learned life is how you look for blessings. Now it's too easy, think I'm playing on some rookie settings. Shout out to homie Sean, I'm going hard, growing large, digging deep. I'm living life like there ain't no tomorrow, open arms. I got this feeling you can't bring down. I've seen enough to know that like it what you seek out. I'm free now, there ain't no worry that could be found. Traded in that brief cloud for family in my dream house. I'm on the vibe, I know. Only love up inside my soul. Hey, finally living with some wide-eyed hope. And you can't knock me out my primetime zone. Hey, I'm on the chapter 2. Now focus on that backward view. My past produced a focus she can't see without some tragic roots. I'm back to new, I live for me, and that's the path I choose. That's why I step with confidence. I'm strutting with my
telling me I'm smooth. I be moving this way, and they be watching how I move. I'm just doing my thing, they wanna know what I do. I be taking it slow and they be telling me I'm smooth. And And I be saying I know, yeah, I be saying
The funny thing about some broke opinions is in the mirror, see my face is the only image. So what you think don't change how I know I'm living. I did the work to break the chains of that codependence. Faith is the golden ticket. Oh, I got that self-belief, and there ain't nothing you were telling me. Nah, someone tell that judge I'm living well and free. I made a milli for his felony. Yeah. Groove on another planet. I'm well above the average. Probably left the competition if I started running backwards. Troubled patterns to the doors of the upper classes. See, when you're confident in you, then really nothing matters. Ain't no worry, to be worth my time. Now energy be on my birthright grind. Yeah. Keep it real and you can't blur fine lines. I speak the truth in every verse I write.
They be telling me I'm smooth. I be moving this way and they be watching how I move. I'm just doing my thing, they wanna know what I do. I be taking it slow and they be telling me I'm smooth. And I be saying I know, yeah, I be saying I know.
All right. Welcome back, guys. That was a very smooth song. Very dope. Let's go ahead and bring Someone Called Someone back on. Yo, you're back live with us and in our hot seat. What are you going to perform for us?
I think the only thing people want to hear from me are bars. No one wants to hear me give advice.
I like advice and bars. So.
All right. Well, maybe there'll be some of both in there. How about that?
All right, cool.
All right. We ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. I live in thought and contemplation, been through loss and constant aching, but see wonders of the universe through stars and constellations. It's perspective. I know that while my part is small and basic, there's just energy from far away that draws us all to face it. This are the laws of God's embraces. From the Assalamu Alaikums to the lost and fallen nation, feels like gravity. The truth is that we all evolve in stages. Got to learn from your mistakes and find the mark to harness changes. Spill my heart across these pages. I get vulnerable for living proof, because written rules don't hit if the experience don't lend the truth. It's simply true. I picked up went to New York at just 22. A dollar dream. I played Radio City for them business suits. Split the roof. Deals came like courses in a dinner room. Untouchable, or so I thought. The touch I lost was inner truth. Miserable. So lost in that substance abuse, I missed the root. A wicked fool, so distant screw. As fast as I had risen through, I was quick to lose. Left homeless, the weight of the world had broke me down. The things I thought I was meant to do no longer were my focus now. So lonely doubt was setting in. What goes around will never end. My soul has found its second wind. 8 years removed, I'm blessed again. Expression lives inside my soul. My story was the scenic route. If gravity's the weight to keep us placed and hold our feet to ground, I float inside the atmospheric pressure. I could reach the clouds. That's it.
Man, dope. Such a wordsmith. Wow.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, one last question for you. What can we expect from your upcoming full album, and how does it fit into your overall musical vision and journey?
So, that's kind of a long question. I'm going to answer it this way. So, picture doing music for a long period of time, and that being such a large aspect of your life, then taking nearly a decade off, and then coming back. What were you listening to 10 years ago? And what is that? What are you listening to today? What are the artists that you listened to 10 years ago making today? Music has changed so much. The market has changed so much. The landscape has changed so much. The type of music that people are making. So throughout this process, I'm still evolving and learning who I am today. I accepted very early on that I couldn't come back and create the music that I was creating 10 years ago when I left. So throughout this process, I'm learning, what do I sound like today? How can I be modern? How can I be accepted by the masses or the public today? And what feels most natural to me? I'm a much older individual today. My experiences are different. I'm no longer young and arrogant. I'm old and humbled. And so finding ways to be true to myself while still finding ways to appeal to crowds and audiences in a way that I did previously is a process for me. And so I created the Moods EP series behind that exact philosophy, and that is, I don't know who I am as an artist, and I don't know exactly what I sound like. So I am making EPs that have different elements of my past, my present, different elements of genre influences, different elements of sounds and styles in my interpretation of what I am and who is me authentically with how that fits into today's market. And I'm kind of creating a new version of myself. So the album that I have is a variety of different songs, all within those different spectrums and kind of all leaning on the different EPs that I'm dropping. And I don't have an exact track list. So throughout this EP series process, I'm finding out what sounds and feels the most natural to me, what the public seems to be receiving the best. And then I'm going to make decisions based on both of those two things to put together a cohesive album that I think truly represents who I want to be as an artist. And that is the day that I feel that I'm truly going to introduce exactly what my sound is. Until then, I'm inviting everyone to go on this journey of my rediscovery with me, and that's kind of how I'm treating this.
Absolutely, man. Sounds exciting. Where can people connect with you online?
So I am at Someone, the letter C, Someone, on all social media platforms, as well as YouTube. I'll be launching a website here probably within the next month or so, and that is going to be SomeoneCalledSomeone.com.
All right, cool deal. And listeners, just in case you need those links, I will include them in the show notes and in the description of this episode. So all you guys have to do is just click the links and connect. Well, man, I just want to thank you so much for being our special guest tonight. It was truly an honor having you here with us.
I really appreciate it, man. And thank you so much for having me. Very, very honored and very grateful to be a part of the show. But now I have a question for you. And it's probably going to be the most important question of the night. Having been on the phone now for about 30 minutes doing this interview, I think that it is imperative that we absolutely get down to who has the silkier, smoothest voice, you or I.
Man, I think you have it, man.
Yours is pretty solid. I got to be honest. Yours is pretty solid. I was intimidated immediately. Now I'm just been insecure this entire time, and I got to know.
I think it's you. Yours deeper. You have like a sweet spot. You know, you kind of, mine hits different tones, and I go up, I go down. Yours is solid all the way
smooth,
across.
Though. It's smooth. You know, just like the song title, man. You're really kind of bringing it full circle for me with this whole experience.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. One deep voice to
Nah, man, thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, man. Take care, and we will talk soon.
Sounds good, my friend. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio Live. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab it from either Spreaker.com/OnlyOneMedia Group, Spotify, Castbox, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, the app Podcast Addict, or over at our website, which again is onlyonemediagroup.com, and that goes for every single show that we've ever aired. If you like to request some music or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That is V as in Victor. And here's my disclaimer: we are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, at all social media sites, as well as Spreaker, YouTube. We always follow back. Okay, well, just remember to put yourself into everything that you do and never stop investing in yourself. Peace, love, grilled cheese, and talk with you later.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.